Hey everyone, I'm just going to give it 1 minute before we start up, but welcome to Money Talk Friday. Checking everything out. I've got some new apparel, or not apparel, but new accessories. Let me see if I go this way. Oh yeah, new plants provided by the wife. I think if I go a little bit even further, you can see the biggie bank. And as always, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Duck Form, New York Stock Exchange. Behind us with a couple different Stephen paraphernalia. I had one for Facebook and Wadapalooza's back there as well. But again, we'll just give it 1 minute here and then we will get started. Crazy, right? All right, excuse me. All right, guys, let's dive right into it. Welcome. For everyone who does not know who I am, my name is Steven, aka Even Steven Money, and we are here live on Money Talk Friday. Every week we have a new topic. I share my story, recommendation, action items, and questions from you. If you are new to Facebook and Even Steven Money, my name is Steven. After paying off over $100,000 in personal debt, my wife and I found our own version of financial freedom. It led me to where we are today, beautiful sunny Miami, where I launched my own money coach business, and I help clients pay off debt faster, save more money than they ever have before, all so they can live a better life today and retire comfortable tomorrow. So it's an exciting moment here at Even Steven Money. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for checking me out, liking the page, giving that thumbs up, sharing it, commenting. I appreciate it all. I appreciate every one of you are stopping by. But let's dive right in. This week's topic is, what should I do with my tax refund? Hopefully you're getting a tax refund, right? But that's a whole nother story. So what I like to do, for those of you not familiar, is I like to read the introduction of the blog post. Kind of gives you a good idea of what we're going to talk about moving forward. So there are many decisions in personal finance and money that whatever choice you make, it's going to be a benefit to your financial situation. So a really good example of that is, paying off your mortgage early or investing. Both of those are benefits to your financial situation. So the goal with a tax refund is really to put yourself in that exact same situation where each choice that you make is going to be a benefit. But let's answer the question, what should I do with my tax refund? Exciting moments, right? So we're getting some money, which is a positive. So the first thing I ask myself and I ask my clients is I kind of go all philosopher on them, but I ask, what did you do with your tax return last year? And the philosopher, so George Santayana, once said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So the way I think of it, that particular philosopher, we'll call him Big George, Big George really says, hey, what did you do last time? Because, as it applies to your tax refund, what did you do last year? Did you do something that wasn't right, something you don't even remember? Did you put it somewhere that, you really didn't get any value out of it? Because if that's the case, if you don't remember that, you're just going to repeat that same process. So thumbs up to you guys. You're already doing better by thinking about what you did last year and what you're going to do this year. So a big thumbs up on that avenue, on that accord. But so something that I practice with what I do in my tax refund, or it's really any large amounts of money or bonuses, different things. If you, for whatever reason, get a windfall, tax refund is really a great example. Is I practice, and I hope I won't mess up the name too bad, the Pareto principle. But it's more commonly known as the 80-20 rule. And the simplified version of that is 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. And I'll dive in a little bit more into that, especially as it relates to your tax refund. So what I found out with tax refunds and when you get money in, like honestly, we know what the right thing to do is, and that's pay off debt or have an emergency fund, save money for for the future or for a vacation or for things that we care about. But what we actually do is something else. It's kind of like the right thing versus what we actually do, and that's why it's important with the 80-20 principle to apply it to your tax refund. And so I'm going to pause for a second here and just remind everyone where we're at, what we're doing. My name is Steven. We're on Money Talk Friday, Steven, aka Even Steven Money. And this week's topic is we're talking about what should I do with my tax refund. As always, I want to thank everyone for liking, sharing, stopping by. Feel free to throw your name in the comments, give it a like, let me know where you're coming from today. I appreciate it. I'm actually let's see if I can do this. I'm going to add a poll here, especially those related with the tax refund. So I've never done this one before, so it's good. It's a good practice. What are you doing? Oh, excuse me. It's, are you getting a tax refund this year? And there is a yes, and I hope so. So go ahead and answer that. Let me see. So I got it on there. So feel free to answer that. And if you're not on yet, no worries. I'll end it pretty quickly and we'll move on to the next step of are you getting, what should I do with my tax refund? But I definitely wanted to have a poll question for you guys out there. So I'm going to leave that up because as of right now, it looks like it's covering my face. But let me get into the next part of really what you should do with your tax refund, and it goes back to the right thing versus what we do. So the 80-20 rule, or the 80-20 rule for the tax refund and other large bonuses, windfall types of money. So here's the principle behind it. So the 20% of the results are going to create 80% of our actual outcome. So here's my thought process behind using this with your tax refund. So there's going to be events like this, refunds, bonuses. And if you're using part of this is really going to be your 20% that's creating 80% of your results. These actions are what's creating that 80%. So when you get that bonus that's $2,000 or $3,000 and you're putting it towards the future or investing, that's really creating results. So that's where that's coming from. And really it's like, why does that actually work? And a lot of it is psychological. It's a great example of why the debt snowball works. The debt snowball isn't mathematically correct. Paying off your highest interest rate is, but psychologically it is the best because you end up getting small wins that really strives for you to go forward. Now I'm gonna I think end it, get it out of the way. I'm not sure how it showed up, but it would be a great chance to see as something new. But with the 80-20 rule, psychological effects, you're probably wondering, like, why doesn't Dave Ramsey talk about this 80-20 rule, or Susie Orman or David Bach, which are some pretty kind of the talking heads and the personal finance gurus? Why don't they tell you to do this? Well, first off, they have a mantra that they have this motto that they've created where Dave Ramsey is pay off debt. Susie Orman, can I afford it? She'll tell you no. David Bach, really that automatic millionaire. So it's not really in there. They can't say spend, or spend the money on this. They have to focus on what their message is. And you're not going to have Dave Ramsey tell you to spend money. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. And that's why you won't see it with some of the big names. But this 80-20 rule it's going to have a really positive impact on how, on really putting yourself in, that win-win situation where whatever you do is going to benefit you. 20%, that creates the 80% of results. And you're probably all wondering, what's this 80%, right? 80% of my money, if I get, we'll be nice to make it, well, we'll be nice to make it easy, right? We'll say you get $1,000 refund. That would mean that you should take 80% of that money and put it towards something good, essentially, right? And then the 20% we'll leave that a little bit later, but you would spend it. So where is that 80% coming from? So the first thing that I do with my clients, or where should you put that 80%, is what I first do is I talk about your values. So I'm a big believer in brick by brick, laying your financial foundation ahead. And that's the financial road ahead to financial freedom. So once you know your values, and for me, writing down your 3 values is really important. So knowing for me that, my wife is very important, and our family, which is my wife, those close to you, that's important. So, and then for us, traveling is a huge value in our, that travel adventure, seeing new places, the world's a beautiful place. And for me now, health and fitness is such a big, important part of my life. And knowing your values, you can then really travel to that next brick. Let me see if I can actually upload our brick by brick. Let's see if I can get rid of this. Hey guys, I have to remind you, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Anytime you like the page, share the page, throw hearts in the air, however all that stuff works, I 100% appreciate it. And let's see if I can add something. So I highly encourage you to check out the brick by brick. And it's really, if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey's baby steps, it's going to be an offshoot of that really hones in more on your values, what's important to you, and then taking that and really applying that throughout your financial life. So with the brick, now that you know your values, you can then travel to the next, into the next brick, which is tracking your expenses. Understanding where your money is going. Is it actually going, are you spending money on the things that you value? As you take that brick, you then look and say, okay, I want to spend money on the things that I value. Let's make a budget based around that. So for what I teach, or what I coach and guide people to do, is we do a zero-sum budget, but we make sure that it's value-based as well. Because I want you to spend money on your values. A budget's not meant to be restricted. If anything, it's actually meant to expand on the things that you care about more. And that's where it takes you. But with the 80-20 rule, and when you're looking at what you should do with your tax refund, you start to look at the next big one, right? So we know our values, we've tracked our expenses, we have a budget. The next thing that's going to come up is an emergency fund. An emergency fund it's one of the biggest issues as it relates to getting your financial house on track, because unexpected expenses come up. But what's great about going brick by brick and laying that financial road ahead is you're going to have a general sense of how much money is being spent each month. You're tracking your expenses, you're creating that budget, and now you're looking at that emergency fund. Now I recommend, it's not a specific dollar amount. Instead, it's a number, it's what allows you to sleep at night. It's an amount that allows you to sleep. And, for some that might be 3 months, some it might be 6, it might be a whole year. And there's a number of factors when looking at your emergency fund that are going to help you sleep at night. But here are the 3 main items that I focus on when making the decision on how much money should be in your emergency fund. So job. So is your job a stable job? Is it, something that's high turnover? Are you new? Those things really factor in. It's tough. A commission-based job, for example, might be something that you might want a larger emergency fund. And now the next one would be, now that you know your travel, now that you know your expenses, you're tracking them and your budget, you're going to now know your expense and your expense history. So something to consider with your emergency fund. And then really your family. For example, if you're a single male or female, you don't have anyone depending on that money. But if you have a wife and kids, or a husband and kids, and you have multiple, you have a couple kids or a dog and a house, now that's something different. You might want a larger emergency fund. And it follows each brick, right? So it's important to have that emergency fund. It's important to know the amount there. And this is regardless of debt. That's why the emergency fund is going to be so important. Now, a lot of people will recommend, I have debt, so I need to only put in, Dave Ramsey, for example, does $500 or $1,000. And that could be the number for you, but personal finance is personal. And that's for you to decide. And as a money coach, I help and guide with my clients to make sure that they have a better understanding of how much money that they really need. And it does. It follows, each brick follows in place. So it's, you are paying off debt. You are investing in for retirement. You are, spending money on things that you value, and that could be saving money for investments, or saving money for your kids' college fund, or paying off your house. There's just so many things when it comes to, really building that financial foundation brick by brick. It's just so important. And that's where the 80-20 and what you should do with your tax refund. For those of you joining, for those of you who have liked my page, joining me today, thank you so much. I'm Steven, aka Even Steven Money. I'm here every Friday. This week's topic is what I should do with my tax refund. So I really want you to get thinking ahead on what you should do. And even if it's the other way, if you have to pay in, let's start thinking about, where is that money coming from? What did you do last year? How are you going to improve? And that's what's important. So I recommend using the 80-20 rule, right? Or Pareto's principle. And you're going to get big results. You're going to follow brick by brick. But what about that other 20%? Probably wondering, hey, I want to spend my money. And believe it or not, that's what I want you to do. So if you've gone through, again, brick by brick, and really the steps that you're laying that road to financial freedom, you probably already guessed it, like what happens with that other 20%. But really it comes down to your values. So I want you to spend that extra 20%. In the example that I used, we said 800 went towards, let's say, an emergency fund. This 20%, I want you to spend money on something that you value, something that you might not have otherwise done. And let me give you an example. I came in, I had a small amount of money that I received. I took 80% of that money and I put it in investment, put it in for the long term, because that's where I am in my financial road. But then I actually took that other 20% and I purchased, here's one example, I purchased some fishing chairs or camping chairs, maybe they're beach chairs. I actually bought those for my wife. I also bought a big lounge camping chair for myself. And I probably wouldn't have otherwise purchased that, but because I had the freedom of knowing that I had a plan ahead, that I could take that 20% and purchase something that I valued and something that I cared about, it was such an easy decision. It felt right. Now, I didn't spend all that money on my whole entire 20% on that, but I did spend money on something that I valued, which was my wife, getting something there. And we are traveling more, we are getting outdoors more with fishing, and I use that chair actually a lot now, which is pretty funny. Sitting on the patio, working when it's really nice out, but that's important to me. So it really depends on what's important to you. And I use the term value a lot, but replace that term value with the word happy. Really, what makes you happy? So that's what I do with the 80-20 rule and Pareto's principle. So just to really just summarize quickly on what you should do with your tax refund, it's that 80%. 80% of that money should go to you making the right choices and following brick by brick. It's most likely going to be an emergency fund, or it's going to be saving money, or it's going to be paying down debt. That's what 80% of it's going towards. But the other 20%, it's going to go towards something that you value, something that you want to spend money on. Now, who knows? You might actually say, you might go through it, put the 80% down on paying debt, and then come back with that 20% and say, you know what? I want to be debt free. I'm going to pay it off. And you apply the 20% anyways. But that's what Pareto's principle is about. And that's what I recommend doing with your tax refund. I highly encourage you to check out my blog post, evenstevenmoney.com, on the tax refund. It's going to give a great example of really following the steps for brick by brick leading to your road to financial freedom. I'm a big believer in it, and I'm going to be talking about it more and more. Now, this one, so this Money Talk Friday, a little shorter, and they're anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, and it gives me an opportunity to just share with you what I've been writing about for the last week and what I've been talking about and what's important for you. 99% of what I do is free of charge. It's great. I love doing it. I enjoy all of this, and I hope you guys get something out of it. The other 1%, yeah, I do charge. I'm a money coach. My goal is simple. It's creating a roadmap to your financial freedom. Talk about it all the time, especially now. But brick by brick, I'm helping individuals change how they spend and save their money. I want you to have a clear plan to put you in a better financial position every step of the way. It's so important to have a plan. It's having someone who's, not only do you have a plan, but someone to bounce that plan off of as well. Have an unbiased third party, which is me, to work with you. It's just really important. And no matter where you are in your financial life, it's great to bounce stuff off of people. But guys, thank you again for joining. I'm here every Friday, 1 p.m., Money Talk Friday. Each week we have a new topic. I'm sharing my story, recommendations, action items, and any questions. This week we didn't have any questions, but that's okay. Had them in the past. I'm more than happy to answer them. Feel free to post them even when we're live. I'll do my best to get to them today or in the near future. Guys, pay off debt, save money, live a better life today. That's what we're all about here at Even Steven Money. If you are curious, interested, wondering what's going on, how are you going to make your financial life better? Working with a money coach like myself could really be that change. And I give you the opportunity to, check out what I'm all about. You can go to evenstevenmoney.com. Now I'm going to copy and paste something in here. Let's see. So you can go here, and this is evenstevenmoney.com/money coach. You can go check it out. It's going to give a little bit more into, what I do on the specifics. But I'm always available for questions, regardless of your situation. And if you're thinking, hey, now's the time, I want to find out more right away, you can actually book a 15 to 30 minute, I call them a discovery session. And what that is, let me post it in there. It allows you to schedule an appointment with me, and we can talk and just see if we're a good fit. See if I can help your financial situation. A lot of you know me, and which is great. And we probably, I hope, have already established trust, and you feel good about working with me. But I also can find out if I can solve your financial problem, financial issue, and if we're a good fit. And that's what the discovery session is. It's free of charge, and we can take the next steps from there. But I highly encourage you to check it out at evenstevenmoney.com/money coach. Always available for questions, comments. Facebook it's becoming where I come a lot more. And Facebook.com/evenstevenmoney. But last but not least, guys, I want to thank you. Again, thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the eyes. I appreciate it. I really enjoy this stuff. I have fun talking about money. I have fun talking about your questions, answering them, kind of diving in. So I really enjoy it. And for my friends, family, and acquaintances, people I've never met before, I really believe that growing your knowledge is so important. And growing your knowledge with me makes me feel like, we are in this together. And it's a great feeling. Uh, it's a great feeling to grow your knowledge and get better with money and do better, really. And I think that happens, here on the Facebook Live, checking out, my blog post at Even Steven Money, and working with someone who's really looking out for you. And that's what I'm all about at Even Steven Money. Guys, that's all I got for you today. Next week I will be here. Shocking, I know. Money Talk Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Next week I actually have a giveaway. And the week after that I have a giveaway. But I don't want to give it away too early. Oh man, too corny. But but I will be here. Again, thank you again, evenstevenmoney.com. This will be posted again on facebook.com, and I'll end up putting this on the blog post as well. Highly encourage you to check it out. But until then, I hope you guys have a great day, great weekend, and I'll catch you guys next week and throughout the week at evenstevenmoney.com.